Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Gidivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahapadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I'm very grateful to Vanmali Pandit Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to speak on today's Sunday lecture there at ISKCON Boston, New Gundicha. In fact, uh, when we had a last week one phone call, he just during the talk he just requested me that if I can give a Sunday talk, and I was not prepared whether to say yes or no, but he was so sweet that I could not refuse it. And I also thought that it is the beginning of Kartik month. I should do some extra service. I should reach out to devotees, help them. So I took that service. Mm. I'm very grateful to him and all the devotees at ISKCON Boston for accepting me. About myself, uh, I have been practicing Krishna consciousness. I'm staying in the temple, ISKCON Chowpatty, since last almost 28 years. I've been doing various types of services. In the beginning, the recording of the lectures, um, DT worship, little book distribution. Then for last 25 years, I've been doing the service of taking care of the guests, new visitors, those who come to temple. And we are working on various things. And within last 5 6 years, I have been also working on to develop online courses where devotees can take online courses, ISKCON Disciple course, Bhakti Shastri course, and many things we are trying to add there. So these are some of my things. I mean, I'm doing services here, and of course, this is my uh, first Zoom session in the sense that I had not tried this technology, and I'm not used to it, and it is a different experience for me because usually when I give the talks in the temple, uh, I see the devotees, their reactions, and it is a different dynamics. But of course, uh, the technology has developed so much that we are able to connect devotees from the different parts of the world through this technology. And I had never dreamt also that someday I'll be talking to ISKCON Boston devotees overseas. But to speak of traveling there and meeting them, so it's a different experience. I'm not able to see anybody. I'm just seeing my screen, and I'm speaking to my screen. But I'm sure this voice is reaching to all of you. So uh, today I decided to take this topic mm, of Srila Narad Muni and Srimad Bhagavatam. And of course, I am presently at Govardhan Eco Village, where devotees have been studying Srimad Bhagavatam very systematically. They have been discussing Srimad Bhagavatam during the morning Srimad Bhagavatam classes. Very systematic way presentations are going on, and it's very much wonderful that they have put so much efforts to bring out these Bhagavad Subodhini books to make the study of Srimad Bhagavatam uh, more simpler, more easy way, systematic way one can study. One can go more deeper into the various topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I also thought that I can take some topic from Srimad Bhagavatam. And of course, I had prepared, I mean, I gave talk on this topic in last Bhagavatam class here at GV. So I thought that let us again refresh that and speak on the topic, maybe cover some more points. So this this topic of Srila Narad Muni, his meeting with Srila Vasudev, Srila Narad Muni's life, uh, he tells about his past life. These topics have been covered in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, fourth chapter, fifth chapter, and sixth chapter. So I'll be just taking those three chapters, just kind of revision and connecting them with our um, ISKCON movement, Srila Prabhupada. So the beginning, how it has begun, the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, and as we know that how uh, there is a discussion going on between the sages of Naimisharanya and uh, Sutta Goswami is telling, and in the sages of Naimisharanya, uh, the spokesperson is Shri Shaunaka Rishi. He is inquiring. Sutta Goswami has been narrating, and Sutta Goswami has heard from uh, Shukadev Goswami, Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, and he has been narrating that to the sages of Naimisharanya. And later on, Srila will compile the entire discussion. So, Shaunaka Rishi is inquiring how this Srimad Bhagavatam came place. I mean, how it started, the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there, Sutta Goswami is explaining that how uh, Srila Vyasadeva, uh, who is literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, he was empowered to write mm, and divide the Vedas into four various Puranas. He delegated this lot of work to his disciples, and they in turn uh, transmitted this knowledge through their disciples, grand disciples, great grand disciples, and in that way, this has this knowledge of the original Vedas has been expounded, and Srila Vyasadeva, who uh, uh, he actually had a very compassionate heart. Hmm. I'll go to the first slide. Uh, Srila responsibility on Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva is considered to be Trikaladnya, hmm, one who can see past, present, and future. Hmm. And being a very compassionate person, compassionate soul, he had a great thought of welfare of people in Kali Yuga. Hmm. And he could see the Kali Yuga, what is going to happen in Kali Yuga in the future. This was many, many years before, thousands of years, maybe 5,000 years before, he was able to see the anomalies of Kali Yuga, and he was very concerned about everyone. Mm. Probably he saw that there could be a pandemic where devotees all over the world will be suffering, and many, many things. Wars he might have seen, and various things, how people are fighting for the small, small petty issues, and their lifespan is small, they have limited capacity. So, how these people of Kali Yuga will be delivered? What is the remedy for them? Mm. And Lord Krishna has already left. Mm. So, what will save people from this difficult age of Kali? So, he edited the Vedas, he made it more simpler. He wrote Mahabharata also uh, for the common people so that it is easy to understand. Mm. And still, he was not satisfied. He was having that compassionate heart. Out of that compassion, he wrote that Mahabharata, but still, he was not satisfied. There was some kind of dissatisfaction in his heart, and he um, could not understand what is causing that dissatisfaction. And he was trying to reflect within. He was going more deeper in his heart. He was trying to understand what is there that something is lacking. He was able to see, and he's felt that he has done a lot of austerities. He has served all the spiritual masters, and his heart is very clean. He could see that, and out of that compassion, he has been serving. But still, there was some kind of pinprick, some kind of dissatisfaction within his heart, and he tried his best to understand, but he was not able to understand. Mm. And he was searching within, and at some point, he came to that conclusion that probably I have not glorified the Supreme Lord. Mm. And but still, he could not feel that that is a right cause of his dissatisfaction. And we can see that Srila Vyasadeva, who was a very great person in fact, and We also celebrate Vyasa Purnima. We celebrate uh, his is the original guru. We consider him as give him a great importance to him. So his condition was like that. Although he had compiled all the Vedantas and everything. So Srila Prabhupada explains that if this is the situation of Vyasadeva, who had compiled all the Vedantas, so what to speak of common people, those who are not having the connection of bhakti, devotional service? How it is difficult to understand the Supreme Lord just by studying the Vedantas. Mm. If just study of Vedantas is not sufficient, ultimate purpose of Vedanta needs to be understood. And ultimate service to the Supreme Lord, the devotional service, Bhakti Marg. So, Srila Vyasadeva, he could not understand, and he was sitting there on the banks of the Saraswati River on that particular morning, and this chapter, the fourth chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, majority of the verses are describing the dissatisfaction of Srila Vyasadeva, but the title of the chapter is Appearance of Srila Narada Muni, and that comes in the last one or two verses that Srila Narada Muni is coming to meet Srila Vyasadeva. That is just the last two verses of the fourth chapter. So, of course, there could be some reason for giving that name, but I was surprised with that. At how Srila Narada Muni's importance has been so much given that he is the guru of Srila Vyasadeva. And we can see that meeting a spiritual master is not a small event. Mm. How we meet a spiritual master. Mm. Those who come to Krishna consciousness, we can see that how this is the intervention of the Supreme Lord in our lives, that He has sent a spiritual master to us. Mm. It is explained that by the mercy of Krishna, one gets spiritual master, and by the mercy of spiritual master, one gets Krishna. So one part is very clear that the Supreme Lord has sent a spiritual master to us. So somehow there he has detected that desire, that this soul is searching, he is seeking me, and his desire is sincere. And that's how we can see that the Supreme Lord has somehow or other given that opportunity, he has brought closer to spiritual master. Mm. So Srila Vasudev, when he was in such a situation, he he received the darshan of Srila Narad Muni. Mm. And Narad Muni is considered to be Devarshina to Narada. Uh, he is a sage amongst the demigods. He is a very great personality. Mm. And he is a universal preacher. Srila Prabhupada calls him a transcendental spaceman who can travel anywhere, any part of the universe. Mm. And why he's traveling to give Narayan, Narada. Uh, he's singing the glories of Radhika Raman. Mm. So his sole purpose is to give bhakti, devotional service to anybody who is interested, who is seeking. Mm. So here, when he saw the situation of Srila Vyasadeva, he felt that there is a opportunity to serve here, and he came there on that at that place, and Srila Vyasadevi welcomes Srila Narad Muni, just as one welcomes Lord Brahma, mm, because darshan of such great personalities is very rare. So he welcomes Srila Narad Muni, and now Srila Vyasadeva and Srila Narad Muni, they are sitting on the banks of the Saraswati in that on that particular morning, and Srila Narad Muni, he is sitting, apparently smiling, and he understood that there is some kind of dissatisfaction within the heart of Srila Vyasadeva, but he immediately doesn't tell him, mm, doesn't instruct him. mm, He lets him speak. Mm. He first tells him that are you satisfied? Mm. The first inquiry for the first question he asked to Srila Vyasadeva, that are you satisfied by considering this body and mind as an object of self-realization? So indirectly, he mentions that this is not going to solve the problem. Mm. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Mm. He has given, Srila Vasudeva has given all these duties of all types of people, but still, that is not going to solve the problem until one takes the Pancham Purushartha, the devotional service. Mm. So he inquires, he tells him that, are you satisfied by giving this Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha? And he glorifies Shrivastava also, that you have performed so many wonderful services. You have done helping everyone by writing this. Your heart is so clean, pure. So at that time, Shrivastava, he confides, he tells that yes, that is there, but there is some kind of deficiency in my heart, and I'm not able to ascertain what is causing that. Mm. Why I'm not still feeling satisfied, although I have compiled so many literatures. Mm. So that time, that was the uh, a special moment, we can say. That time, Srila Narad Muni, he tells him about devotional service, about glorifying the Supreme Lord, mm, about writing the literatures which glorify the Supreme Lord, mm, devotional literatures. Mm. And this is the moment where Srila Vyasadeva, he uh, takes that instruction very seriously, mm, because uh, the words of spiritual master are very powerful. Mm. And when uh, someone takes the words of spiritual master as his life and soul, mm, then that has a power to transform a person. There is a great transformation within the heart. Mm. And then one can see everything differently. Mm. Although Srila Vasudeva has written so many literatures, but still he was not satisfied. And when Srila Narad Muni, he told him about writing the literatures which glorify the Supreme Lord, mm, in the mode of devotional service, that is the great transformation, or that is a great service, one can do. Mm. So Srila Vyasdev, he heard that, mm, and There was a transformation within his heart. He accepted that instruction. Mm. And mm, indirectly, uh, Srila Narad Muni, he gave that seed of bhakti, mm, or the seed of the mission. And what was the mission? Mission was to write devotional literature or the glories of the Supreme Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mm. And that was the beginning. That was the turning point in the life of Srila Vyasdev. Mm. And this this narration has been coming in the fifth chapter of the first canto, how Srila Narad Muni instructs Vyasdev to write Srimad Bhagavatam, to glorify the Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, so, and in this chapter, there are some of the best verses I have seen. Uh, we can also know that uh, how he glorifies this Srimad Bhagavatam. Mm. First, he tells that that literature which does not glorify the Supreme Lord, mm, that is a place of pilgrimage for the crows. Mm. So indirectly, he hints in various ways. And the great souls do not take pleasure. The swan-like devotees, they don't take pleasure into such things. And Srila Prabhupada explains there in that purport that in today's time there are so many literatures. People are writing about so many things, sports, films, and politics, and so many topics they are discussing. But that is not giving satisfaction to the soul. And Srila Prabhupada calls them as dead literatures. They're dead literatures because it doesn't give a life to a person. It makes one feel more nervous or more depressed by hearing that kind of news. Mm. On the other hand, Srila Narad Muni explains that Tadvag Visargo Janatag Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhavaddhavatati Namani Antasankitani Yat Shrunvanti Gayanti Grunanti Sadhava. Mm. Srila Narad Muni explains that on the other hand, that literature which glorify the Supreme Lord, mm, which may be imperfectly composed, that will transform the heart of us. Shrunvanti Gayanti Grunanti Sadhava. That will be glorified by the people or by the devotees, those who are thoroughly honest, because they know the power of glorifying the Supreme Lord. Mm. And that is the greatest welfare activity one can do for entire human society. Mm. So Srila Narad Muni had that tremendous conviction that this is the need. This is a need of the society now, that they should practice devotional service. They should glorify the Supreme Lord. Mm. And that will connect the soul to the Supreme Lord. Mm. Because the soul is disconnected with the Supreme Lord, and therefore there is so much dissatisfaction within. So when that soul gets connected to the Supreme Lord through the process of bhakti, by chanting the holy names, by hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, then that will satisfy the soul. That will remove all the anxieties within the heart. So Srila Narad Muni had that complete conviction that this is the need of the hour. And then he starts telling about his personal story. Hmm. That is very interesting. That how at this time mm, Srila Narad Muni, he decides to narrate about his own life. Mm, and he suddenly starts telling about himself. He tells that in my previous life, mm, I was a son of a maid servant. Mm, and as a small child, 5 years old child, he was serving those Bhakti Vedantas during the month of Chaturmasya. Mm, he served them, he heard from them, they were discussing about the Supreme Lord, and uh, he was very attached to hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord. And by their permission, with their permission, he took the remnants of those great souls, those Mahatmas, those great souls, Bhakti Vedantas, and his heart was transformed. He developed the taste for hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Mm. And that was the beginning of his bhakti, or the devotional service, in the previous life. And Srila Vyasdev explains that Srila Vyasdeva inquires that what happened afterwards, that when those Bhakti went, mm, uh, Bhaktivedantas went after the 4 months of Chaturmasya, what did you do? Mm. So Srila Narad Muni uh, explained that he was uh, uh, he was with his mother. For mother, he was only child, and she was doing everything for him, taking care of him, household activities, and everything. Mm. That was her only possession, small child, and she was caring for him. But at one time, when she went out for milking the cow, she was bitten by one serpent and she died. Mm. And for the small child, Narad Muni, in his previous life, there was no one to help him, and he was alone. He didn't know what to do. Mm. And it is explained that when the Supreme Lord showers this special mercy, he takes away everything from that person. Mm. So Srila Narad Muni, he took it very positively even at that age. Mm. At that age, he took it very positively, and he decided that I want to understand my goal of life. I want to achieve the perfection. He started traveling, mm, from various places, mm, went to various cities, villages, and many places, jungles. He traveled, very dangerous journey he took, and one time, one place he came in the forest, there was nobody, and he was sitting. He was praying to the Supreme Lord. He was sitting in meditation, trying to remember what those great souls had instructed. He was trying to meditate. And what happened? The Supreme Lord appeared within his heart. He got the darshan of the Supreme Lord to that small child. And he saw the Supreme Lord within his heart. And he was so happy. Mm, He saw. And then within few moments, again he lost that vision. Mm. He opened the eyes and trying to find out where is the Supreme Lord. I just saw, um, and why I lost him now. Mm. So that time he heard the voice. Now the Supreme Lord is speaking through that voice, and the Supreme Lord spoke to him that in this life now you will not be able to see me. Mm. That's a big blow in one sense, that He just saw, he was so close to the Supreme Lord. But now the Supreme Lord is saying that in this life you will not be able to see him. It could be so painful. But he said, the Lord said that your mm, you are still, I mean, service is not complete, and you will achieve me sometime. Definitely, it's not that Lord is lost to a devotee; He will achieve him, but not in this life. So then it is not explained that how he passed his life like that. I mean, we can imagine if somebody tells that now this is only one moment you got, and now you have to just live alone without anybody. Just have faith in Krishna consciousness. It will be so difficult. Mm. Although we are surrounded by so many devotees, we hear, we chant, we have deities to worship, we have so many services to do, but still, we feel sometimes disconnection. And Srila Narada, he accepted that also. He continued. Uh, and then at one time, when he was leaving the body, mm, he his heart had transformed completely. He had achieved a different level of consciousness, and he he tells Srila Vyasadeva that that was in the previous kalpa, previous day of Brahma. It was not just a previous life, uh, but it was the previous kalpa. I mean, the previous day of Brahma, uh, almost like 4.32 billion years before. And because he was very pure in his heart, he could remember even in this life. And then in this life, he came as Narada Muni. Mm. And at another place in Srimad Bhagavatam, mm, 7 Canto, 15th chapter, verses 69 to 74, there is a story of Gandharva Upaparan. Mm. So there it is explained that what is the previous birth of the son of maid servant, Srila Narad Muni. Mm. So there it is explained that Srila Narad Muni in his two births before, means when in the previous birth he was the son of maid servant, but before that he was Upabharan, a Gandharva. Mm. And he had a very beautiful body, he was very strong and very nice looking person. He was a very good singer, and he was invited by the Prajapatis to take part in the Sankirtan festival to glorify the Supreme Lord in the assembly of demigods. So he was invited, he went there, but instead of glorifying the Supreme Lord, he was singing, praising the other demigods. Mm. And that was considered to be an offense. Mm. So the uh, Prajapatis cursed him, and they curse him that because you have transgressed this etiquette, you become a Shudra, devoid of beauty. Mm. That was a small offense he did. Mm. And that's how he became the son of maid servant. Uh, and the next life, he became Srila Narad Muni. So we can see the power of devotional service. That first lifetime he was Gandharva Upavaran, and that was also another Mahakalpa, it is explained. So we can see the journey of Narad Muni that in the first lifetime he was Gandharva Upavaran in one Mahakalpa, second Kalpa he was son of maid servant, and now he has become Srila Narad Muni, third birth is Srila Narada Muni, and he is traveling all over the universe, reaching out to so many souls, and we can see he has instructed uh, so many wonderful disciples all over the universe, guides them, helps them, and even in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, he has come as Shiva's Thakur. Mm. So, uh, the importance of Srila Narad Muni in our connection, in our parampara, is so important. Even in our Guru disciplic succession, Brahma, uh, then Narad Muni, then Vyasdev. Mm. So, he is a very important link in our parampara. And uh, we can see that how he gave that seed of instruction to Srila Vyasdev to write the glories of the Supreme Lord, and that came to be Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be a spotless Puran, Amal Puran, which does not have any material contamination. And for this Kali Yuga especially, it is explained that Krishna Swadhama Bhagate Dharma Jnana Adi Bisa Kalo Nashta Drushamesha Puranar Kodhinitat Adhunita. That in this age of Kali, people are so disturbed. They have lost the vision. mm, what to do, which is the right way. That time he has given this Srimad Bhagavatam. It has appeared like a sun. Anybody who studies Srimad Bhagavatam will see that there is great transformation. He can see things more clearly. He can uh, lead his life properly. So Srila Vyasdev has given that. He took that instruction very seriously, and he expounded, and it has come to us. So now that Srimad Bhagavatam, how it has come to us. So in our parampara, we can see that Srila Prabhupada, mm, when he first meeting with his spiritual master, mm, at that time, Srila Prabhupada was uh, in the freedom uh, movement, independence movement. India was under the subjugation of British rule, and the entire nation was struggling to get independence for the country. And Srila Prabhupada was also part of that. So when he met his spiritual master first time, uh, before he could speak anything, before they could even interact, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj gave him a lifelong mission. He instructed him that you are an educated young person. You should take this message of Lord Chaitanya and preach in the Western world. So, Srila Prabhupada at that time he was surprised at how uh, this sadhu he doesn't know me also, but he is giving me a lifelong mission. Am I capable of fulfilling that? So he was thinking that what is importance now? And he argued for some time with his spiritual master, but his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj, he explained that Krishna consciousness is a urgency. Mm. It cannot wait. Sometimes this party, sometimes another party, that will go on. But what is the need? Need of a common person is to become Krishna conscious, to connect ourselves with the Supreme Lord. As long as the soul is disconnected, one will not find that happiness. So, this Krishna consciousness helps to bring a soul closer to the Supreme Lord. So, he gave that instruction that to take that mission. And Srila Prabhupada, at that time, he, within his heart, he accepted, he understood that yes, this is not an ordinary sadhu. He is a different person. And within his heart, he accepted him. And at another time, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj met him on the banks of Radhakund, mm, that time he told that if you ever get money, you print the books. Because he had seen that Srila Prabhupada, he writes well, his understanding is clear, and he is the right person who can take this message and bring to the entire world. Mm. And we can see that how Srila Prabhupada took that message very seriously and how he started his journey towards the West. Mm, that's a big story. We all know that how Srila Prabhupada he took that difficult journey even at the late age, 70 years of his age. He started that journey, and it was so difficult for him, but still he took that mission. Mm. And we can see that how uh, he had tremendous faith in Srimad Bhagavatam. Mm. It is explained. Gaurang Prabhu was explaining that about Srila Prabhupada that what was the faith of Srila Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam. Mm. Srila Prabhupada, although he was had the first three volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam with him, few I think 50, 60 books he had taken that, um, and he was carrying that Srimad Bhagavatam with him. But Srila Prabhupada is explaining that I'm not carrying Srimad Bhagavatam with me. I'm accompanied by Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm accompanying Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the main support for him in this journey. So in this way, uh, Srila Prabhupada had that faith. And we can see that I was just reading ISKCON Boston website. I wanted to get the reference of that point where Srila Prabhupada um, reaches to Boston, Commonwealth Pier, and there first, I mean, that Jaladuta reaches there on the western coast, and Srila Prabhupada composes that Markini Bhagavad Dharma and poem there, and how he's expressing that how he's helpless to uh, give the message to the people here. Mm. But he has great faith. He has great faith in Srimad Bhagavatam. Mm. And even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the very beginning, in the very preface, uh, he writes that why he's writing this Srimad Bhagavatam or how this Srimad Bhagavatam is so powerful. And he's writing that there is a pinprick in the society. Society has made a great advancement in technology in various fields, in the field of communication, mm, but still there is some pinprick. Mm. And uh, there is so much disparity in the world. Mm. There are people, there are unevenness. There is so many issues happening. Even today's time, there are so many difficult situations happening. We can see this situation of pandemic also. People are suffering. There are wars going on in different places, riots going on. So many. Kali Yuga is increasing so much. But there is a hope. Still, there is a hope of Srimad Bhagavatam. When somebody reads that, somebody practices those principles, one can perfect one's life. Mm. So that was the connection I was trying to make. That how the Srimad Bhagavatam has come to us from many years before, and still The power of Srimad Bhagavatam is so great that even today's time, somebody takes the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, reads carefully, practices, then one's life can become perfect. So, and of course, the Prabhupada gave this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He had tremendous faith in this holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's how we can see that how there was so much transformation in the lives of so many wonderful souls. They came to Krishna consciousness. The movement is growing, and how the message has reached to us. So I think now it's 9:30, and I would like to stop now. If anybody has any questions or um, comment, you can let me know. Vanmali Prabhu, is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Devotees, if you have any questions, yeah, feel free to unmute yourself. And yeah, I think no one has any questions, Prabhu.
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhu,
No,
for
if
taking your
Sankirtan Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
if anyone doesn't have any question, at least they can reflect on what they have spoken, anything, any points which they have liked it. That could begin actually some discussion. Yeah, devotees, if you like any point from today's talk, maybe you can share. Maybe that would be another way to have the discussion started. Rashkoti Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for nicely explaining the importance of sastras and how they were written by Vyasdev and all. Prabhuji, I have one small question about Narada Muni. In his
Yeah.
previous life, how he was, you were just explaining about the previous life, right? I think Prabhu, there is a resound actually.
Huh. Should I explain? Yeah.
Yeah, please. Could you please explain a little more about it?
Srila Narad Muni, he explains about his previous life, and he was the son of a maid servant. In his previous life, I made this life. There were three lives. Okay. Uh, First, he mentions about in his previous life that is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.4, 1.5 chapter, fourth chapter and fifth chapter of first canto. So there he mentions that he was the son of maid servant and he served the Bhakti Vedantas during the month of Chaturmas. And he got, the mercy there. He heard they were discussing about the Supreme Lord, and that's how he developed the taste. And in the seventh canto, there was another reference where his previous to that birth, what he was, that is mentioned, and that is Gandharva Upakaran. So that time he made one small offense. and therefore he became the son of maidservant. But then he again performed bhakti. He served the Bhakti Vedantas, and then in his next life he became Srila Narada Muni. So
Prabhu,
that's how he.
b- Bhakti, sorry for that. Bhakti Vedantas means they are the saints, Prabhu,
Yes, yes, yes. They
or
are very,
what kind of?
they are very advanced devotees, very, very advanced devotees. Just like we have these levels of studies like Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Sarojam, then Bhakti Vedanta. So those are very well conversant with the devotional uh, principles, devotional practices by practice and by their study. Then their call is Bhakti Vedantas. So Srila Prabhupada is also Bhakti Vedanta. He is given this as a Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, we say. So they had that kind of level. So he had that opportunity to serve such great souls. And that's how he got the mercy. So serving the great souls has tremendous power. When somebody serves them, pleases them, then when they give their mercy, they see that this soul is sincere. Now we can see also that usually we do not give so much attention to maid servant. What to speak of the son and relatives of maid servant, right? So his mother was like an ordinary maid servant, but his son was serving those great souls. So those great souls, they did not discriminate. They did not say that, oh, he is a son, he is a Shudra boy. Why should we give him? No, they saw that the sincerity. They saw that he is very sincerely serving. So they gave their mercy. And therefore the bhakti is very causeless mercy. There is no cause how we get receive that bhakti. So when such souls, uh, those bhakti vedantas, they saw that there is sincerity in this boy is serving so nicely. They thought that yeah, he should get devotional service, and that's how we can see that how he reached to that level.
Wow. Thank you, Prabhu, for the nice explanation. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Right. Right. Yeah. Anything else? What are the names of the deities there? Can you know?
Radha Gopi Vallabha Prabhu.
Radha Gopi Vallabh. Oh, very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay then.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for taking your time out and giving your association to ISKCON Boston community. Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.